Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Solomon. Solomon is a biblical name, from the Hebrew shlomo, which is a derivative of shalom meaning peace. Solomon was born from the Bible as the third king of Israel, after Saul and David. Solomon was the product of an adulterous relationship between David and Bathsheba, who eventually became David's eighth and most favored wife. In 2 Samuel 12 verse 24 Solomon is born and we are told that the Lord loved him, so the prophet Nathan calls the child Jedediah, which means beloved of Yahweh. Solomon was declared king by David at his deathbed, circa 970 BC, and in 1 Kings 3 verse 5 God appeared to Solomon in a dream and asked the king what he wishes for. Solomon humbly asks God for wisdom and understanding mind so that I may govern your people and discern between good and evil. The Lord is so impressed with Solomon's selfless request that he also bestows upon the king a long life, riches, and power along with wisdom. This wisdom is immediately thereafter illustrated by the parable of King Solomon, the two prostitutes and a baby, 1 Kings 3 verses 16 to 28. Two prostitutes carrying a baby come before King Solomon and ask him to solve their dilemma. Each claims that the baby is hers. Solomon suggests they divide the baby in two so that the women can each have a half. One woman agrees, the other says, "Give her the living child, and by no means put him to death." Solomon declared that woman the mother, since she was putting the safety of the baby first, as a true mother would do. And so the people of Israel stood in awe of Solomon, knowing he was a wise and just king. Solomon's long reign was marked by economic prosperity, international relations, and, most importantly, the building of a temple in Jerusalem. As a prominent king of Israel, Solomon has been a name of particular importance among the Jews, but it was also adopted by nonconformist Christians several centuries ago. Personality of the boy named Solomon. The number 4 personality is marked by stability and discipline. This is the personality that follows the rules and is conservative by nature. They have an earthbound energy that prefers to build things methodically on top of firm foundations. They don't cut corners. 4s take their time and don't like to be hurried. But the outcome of their endeavors is likely to result in some strong and useful structure, which makes them great engineers and inventors. 4s are anything but frivolous or controversial. This is a trustworthy, straightforward personality that embodies dedication and organization. They are the backbone and anchor in their relationships, careers, and communities. They are tidy, punctual, and full of integrity. Hard work comes naturally to a 4, and they are immensely reliable. This is the personality you can always count on. Popularity of the boy named Solomon. The name Solomon has been in use in America since the time of colonization. However, we only have data that dates back to the late 19th century. At the turn of the 20th century, Solomon was a name used fairly moderately. As the decades progressed, the name would dwindle in usage and reach its low point of popularity in the 1960s. Solomon has always maintained a position on the charts, and so has had a consistent place within the naming practices of the United States, even if that place has been at low to moderate levels. Solomon is a familiar name to Jews and Christians alike given his prominence in the Bible, specifically 1 Kings and the Song of Solomon, which celebrates the romantic love between man and woman. Solomon is a handsome, kingly name. It's exotic and not heavily used, but the name's etymology, peace, has a really nice meaning. And thanks to King Solomon himself, the name is also synonymous with wisdom. Quick facts on Solomon. Gender, boy. Origin, Hebrew. Number of syllables, 3. Ranking popularity, 424. Pronunciation, Shalmn. Simple meaning, peace. Characteristics of Solomon. Dependable, conservative, studious, industrious, hardworking, solid, practical. Cultural references to the baby name, Solomon. Literary characters of the baby name Solomon. Ruth Dead is a character in Toni Morrison's 1977 bestseller, Song of Solomon. Ruth is the mother of the protagonist, Macon Milkman, dead 3, a young African-American man. Ruth was the daughter of the town's only black physician, whom she loved to excess and for whom she endlessly mourns. Trapped in a loveless marriage to a man who is emotionally abusive to her, and supported largely by her husband's indomitable sister, Pilate, it may be argued that Ruth is a rather ineffectual cipher of a woman. This is a woman, however, who stands up to that abusive husband when he tries to force her to abort the child who will become her beloved son. In her own quiet way, she goes about her life honoring exactly what is precious to her against all odds. Popular songs on Solomon. Solomon Jones, a song by Kate Bush. Solomon, Song of Solomon, The Song of Solomon, a song by Few Left Standing, a song by Steve Kilbey, a song by Asylum, explicit. Famous people named Solomon. Solomon I of Imereti, 18th century king of Imereti, Western Georgia. Solomon Jones, basketball. Solomon Burke, singer, songwriter. Solomon Bates, football player. Solomon Linda, musician. Solomon, king of Hungary, 11th century king of Hungary. Solomon II of Imereti, king of Imereti. Solomon, rap musician. Solomon of Montpellier, 13th century rabbi. Solomon, British pianist. Solomon Buzendich, Kenyan long-distance runner. Solomon Kadainuzulu, former king of the Zulu nation. Historic figures with the name Solomon. We gave you the main points on Solomon above. He was Israel's third king, the son of David, loved by God, given power, wealth and wisdom, reigned during the Golden Age of Israel, built Jerusalem's first temple, yada yada, yada. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for King Solomon. He had 700 wives and princesses and 300 mistresses. Theta 1,000 women he loved. No wonder the song of Song was written either for him or by him. As God suspected would happen, many of Solomon's foreign wives and concubines influenced him with the ways of their own pagan religious beliefs. Eventually, Solomon turned away from God, but because God loved Solomon's father David so much, he let Solomon finish his 40-year reign and die honorably without punishment. Still, some of Solomon's political policies had some not-so-great consequences. He alienated the northern tribes through forced labor and heavy taxation, he diminished some of their religious influence, and he sold some of their towns to the Phoenician king. This all would set the stage for the subsequent division of Israel when the northern tribes secede from the Union.